Hello, and welcome to our brand new podcast entitled Oh Baby. My name is Adam, and I'm joined by my wife Jessie. We decided to start this podcast to share our story and spread awareness to birth defects in babies. We are new parents and to a beautiful baby girl named Isabel. Isabel is the sweetest baby girl with the biggest, most contagious smile you will ever see. Looking at her now, you would never know the struggles that she's been dealing with since before she was born. Isabel has been diagnosed with a giant omphalocele. An omphalocele is a birth defect of the abdominal wall. The infant's intestines, livers, or other organs stick outside of the belly through the belly button. The organs are covered in a thin, nearly transparent sac that hardly ever is open or broken. This can be a very scary diagnosis as other conditions are often tied to it as well, including heart problems, lung problems, and chromosomal abnormalities. In this podcast, we want to highlight the stages that we have encountered throughout the pregnancy, including birth, surgery, and recovery. We want to discuss the treatments that we encountered and shed some light on some things that you could expect if you were to find yourself in the situation. This week, we will discuss the highs of learning of the pregnancy, the lows of the lows of the discovery of her condition, and how we dealt with the news.
So, we have been wanting to do something like this for a while now, and we were trying to think when would be a good time to do a kickoff for our podcast. And Adam has been telling me since he began following an Omphalocele Awareness Facebook group that January 31st is Omphalocele Awareness Day. So, we wanted to kick off our first podcast episode to highlight, bring attention to, and celebrate Omphalocele Awareness Day. So we thought that it would be fitting to air our first podcast episode in celebration of it.
Yeah, we've been ever since we got the diagnosis for Isabel of an omphalocele. We wanted to get as much information as we could, and it's been hard to find the information. There's not much online that we can find. Um, we did encounter a couple of Facebook groups that seem to have a nice community. We found one or two child books that were had omphalocele, but other than that, there's not much. So we wanted to create this platform or use this platform to share our experience, something that we hope can be useful to other families dealing with an omphalocele, or if there's other families out there that have dealt with it and they want to know that they're not alone. Hopefully, this can be a little bit of some comfort to them, or just some extra support for those dealing with an omphalocele.
I think so too. And I think when we talked about our vision for the podcast, we were hoping that we would hear from other people out there too who want to share their story. Maybe their child has been newly diagnosed with a congenital omphalocele. Maybe their child has passed the repair point and now they're thriving. Maybe the person's actually an adult who, had the condition as a child and is now, past it, so to speak. So we're looking forward to have this be a point of community too. So we will share our email address and we'll post it in the show description.
All right, so this week we want to break down the finding out that we're having a baby. We'll talk about how we how we handle the diagnosis, as well as how we handled it after the diagnosis. So, I guess let's start from the beginning here. How did we find out? Tell me how we
Yeah,
found
I'll,
out.
I'll tell you my perspective. One thing I was saying before we started is I have my own memory. I think he has a better recollection of what happened, but you can hear both of our perspectives. So it was summertime, and Adam was going to participate in the Tough Mudder. He's done like 3 or 4 of them now. Is this like the fourth one you did?
Third.
Fun fact: he even has a tattoo that says Tough Mudder. So that's just a side thing. But anyway, he was away doing that. I couldn't go this time. I think I had school. I was finishing my MBA, and I knew I was late, and I was thinking to myself, could I maybe be pregnant? So I shared with my mom, I'm going to take a pregnancy test. Adam's not here, so if I am pregnant, I can compose myself and figure out, a fun or nice way to tell him when he gets back. So take the test. I think I bought like a pack of three, and the first couple seemed like they were negative. Then I know people talk about how some don't realize they're pregnant until they're like, I don't know, like by mistake, like give birth on a toilet, which is crazy to me. And then some people just feel like they just know like something's different. So I was one of those people that felt like I just knew. And I don't know if that's common for others or not, but that was me. So I got these first two and they seemed negative, and I thought, I just really feel like it's gotta be, I feel like I'm pregnant. So I take the last one. I let it sit, and I think overnight, maybe it was overnight, maybe it was a couple hours, it's a little fuzzy there, but all of a sudden I checked back on it, and to me it looked like the slightest bit positive. So I thought, oh my god, maybe I am pregnant. Even though it was the only one out of three that seemed positive, I was still kind of hopeful, I think. So I took it outside in the backyard to try to like get light on it. I took a bunch of pictures of it. I ended up showing it to my mom, and I was trying to figure it out. And then I ended up buying another round of tests in that same weekend. And then right before Adam came home, we got one that was very distinctly positive. So I was trying to figure out how to tell him. Um, he ended up coming through the door, and when he came through the door, I had a pizza ready, and I also had cheesecake ready. Truthfully, because those were my cravings that afternoon. And I said to him, he came through the door, he was kind of like all tired and with all of his items, and he said, hello and stuff. And I said, does this look like a surprise to you? And he looked up at it and he said, yeah, definitely. And I was like, okay, how about this? And I shot the pregnancy test onto the table, and he was like, kind of his eyes got big, and I was like, look. So then he looks at it, it's positive. My perception was that he kind of like fell against the wall and was like trying to hold himself up because he was shocked and surprised. How do you interpret that experience?
Well, at first, well, it was actually funny because she is trying to be very clever.
That's me, yeah.
So she pulls out this cheesecake and she goes, is this like a good surprise? I was like, yeah, sure. And then she pulls out the test and she puts it down on top of him and goes, what is about this? Is this a good surprise? And I was like, and I'm looking at it, and I do step back, and the wall was right behind me, but I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I'm super sore. I just did the Tough Mudder the day before, and I had just got done driving because it was about a 3 hour drive to get to and back from the Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
So I was thrown off, and I was shocked, and also not shocked because we obviously talked prior, and like she said she was late,
Right.
and we talked about her taking a pregnancy test, and leading up to it, I was like, you're not pregnant, there's no way, we've been safe and this and that. And
Well, can I throw in one thing too? Um, Throughout our relationship, I've had some menstrual concerns, so there's been times in our relationship where we're like, and it's never been, so this time I was like, something just feels so different to me. So we kind of were doubtful at first, and then I just really felt like in my gut, so to speak, that there must be something going on. But
yeah, so when she showed me the test, and it very clearly says pregnant, it was a shock to me.
that was a shock because it literally said pregnant. Like there's the tests that can say like plus or minus, and those are what I started with. And I was having a hard time reading those. And then I bought this next round, right? And then the last one I took, it was like stark pregnant, like in billboard letters.
Yeah, she kept all the other tests as well and showed them to me,
Yes, I did.
and they they were positive, I guess.
Was I reading it wrong, maybe?
Well, no, it was the ones that have the one line or two lines or whatever it
Yeah, yeah.
was, and the one line was just so faint.
That's true.
You, if you didn't look at it in the right light, there's no way you would know
I
that it
took
was actually
400
pregnant.
pictures of some of them on my cell phone because I was trying really hard, like, to zoom in and, like, I was
Yeah.
doing the craziest stuff
So
looking
as
at
soon as we got the one that actually said pregnant, there was no doubt about it, and we were hitting the ground running.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really exciting. We definitely wanted a baby. We've been together at that point for almost 10 years, right? Getting closer to
Yeah.
10 years. Married for almost 5. So, very excited. We also had just recently bought a new house. We had 2 dogs already. So, they say first you have a dog, then you have a baby sometimes. So, we were kind of, I guess, following that cadence. But yeah, it was exciting times for sure.
Yeah. Now we had a couple uh, visits at the doctor, and everything seemed to be going well. There was a scare um,
Yeah, pretty early on.
pretty early where there was some miscommunication where um, they got the due date incorrect. So based off their initial due date that they gave us,
Mm-hmm.
um, it it would have seemed that the pregnancy was further along than it really was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we had an appointment, and the doctors or her doctor came out and said that they want us to come back in what was it,
Was it
two
two
weeks?
weeks?
Two
Yeah.
weeks, and do another ultrasound because the baby isn't growing.
Or wasn't the size they were expecting
Yeah.
it to be, I think, when they were looking to confirm the pregnancy.
So then they said they want to come back and make sure it's a viable pregnancy.
Those words literally will always, like, stick in my head so much. Yeah, those were hard words for me to hear. So, I was feeling great. I didn't have, like, the usual, like, severe, I shouldn't say usual, what I was expecting to be usual or normal. Morning sickness, to the severity where I was, like, in the bathroom, hunched over the toilet for, several minutes at a time. I didn't feel much of that. I did feel very tired and
Yeah.
like excessively tired, but I was also in school and working full time, so I thought, oh, maybe I'm just tired because of that. But yeah, that was hard. It was really hard. I was very nervous, very worried. Also, watching a lot of Handmaid's Tale at the time, and she happened to be pregnant on the show, so everything she was going through was really stressful, and I think it was just adding to my stress. Yeah, so that was terrible. It was really rough. And then we come to find out when we go back the next 2 weeks that things are okay. It was just I guess a confusion between the dating of things.
Yeah.
And I mentioned before I had some menstrual issues in my past, so wasn't maybe exactly right on with when I actually had missed my period to when everything else I think fell in line. So we get a new due date, right?
Yep.
Of May 5th.
Yeah, they recalculate the due date, and I wanted it to be May 5th
That's
because
right.
that's Cinco de Mayo,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it turned out to be like, what was it,
The
May?
second,
Yeah, something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, the reason why it's not clear in our heads anymore is because our daughter was actually born on April 30th.
Yep.
So they had planned a C-section for Isabel, and that was like in the 38th week, I think.
39th.
30
Yep.
was it, or
Yep.
like beginning of 39th? So because I would change weeks on Wednesday. So yeah, all of that very technical stuff got planned towards the end. So yeah, so that was the beginning, and then we come up on 20 weeks.
Yep. We went in for the ultrasound on the 20 week marker, and
This is right before the holidays.
yep, and we were excited. We were gonna be able to get the gender so we can plan our gender reveal party, and it was a couple days before my 30th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we were planning on doing all that for on my birthday weekend so we can share the news of what the gender of our baby, and we're excited. I just could
A lot
not be any
going on.
more excited.
Right.
And so we're doing the ultrasound. We see her. Everything seems to be going smoothly.
Yeah, like if we could say too good, I would say too good because it felt like very perfect. Like there was no other things that.
The ultrasound tech did not show any sign to us that there was something wrong.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're finishing up this ultrasound, and she
It
tells
was
us,
taking long, that we didn't know how
yeah,
long to expect, but it felt that it was taking
yeah,
very long.
she stepped out of the room and didn't really, again, still didn't tell us anything.
Yeah, she kind of just said, "Well, I'll be right back," kind of
Yeah.
thing. We're like, "Okay."
So then we're waiting. About 15 or so minutes go by.
I think I like started checking my email. I started answering texts. Adam, I think too, was like scrolling Facebook, and we are just kind of like chatting. Then my doctor comes in.
Yeah, her doctor walks in
Yeah.
and she breaks the news to us
Let me
that,
just say one thing though about the doctor coming in. It was kind of surreal because for me, I didn't realize why she like came in, because I didn't realize that it was going to be like not great news. I thought like it's just normal for her to come in and talk to us, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I guess typically they just have the tech do their thing, and then deliver us the envelope, and then I come back to discuss, at the next visit. I think was the plan.
yeah, it was very odd. We've done a number of ultrasounds leading up to it, obviously with the miscommunication early on, and
Right.
so we weren't expecting her doctor to come in. She hasn't come in to any of the prior ones.
Right. So
So her
at
coming
first,
in was kind of threw us off a little bit.
definitely. At first, though, I like smiled and I was like, "Oh, like really excited to see her." Then I noticed her face like not very emotive, and I was like, "Oh no, something's wrong."
Yeah, so then she she gives us the news.
Mhm.
Says it looks like our daughter had, or she didn't say our daughter because we didn't know the gender yet,
Yeah.
but she said that our baby looks like she has what's called an infallacio,
Mhm.
and that when she tried to reassure us that it's okay, she explained to us that it's a rare condition. One in, what is it, 4,000 babies get it.
Yeah, but she didn't. I don't think she knew that in her back pocket. I think she was just saying that it's a rare thing, so rare in fact that we're gonna have to be referred to fetal concerns for high risk pregnancies with fetal anomalies. And those
Mm-hmm.
words were scary to hear. So I think she was trying to be reassuring, and she did definitely say to us she didn't want the news to ruin our holidays, which I understand why she said it, but it did not feel like, something that wouldn't absolutely impact every moment from that time forward.
Yeah, she was trying to be reassuring. She even told us how she knew
Oh
some
yeah, that's right.
people that had a child with an infallacio, and she saw them at like a water, or like a resort, and with a pool, and said that they saw the baby and you would never know. And I, she was trying to make us feel better, and
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, I tried to put on the brave face immediately as soon as we were given the news. I put on the brave face. I didn't want to. I wanted to be the strong one for Jesse, and I was hiding my reaction
Yeah.
as best as I could.
Hearing you say that now in hindsight, it's so interesting because I was at the time literally like emotionally disintegrating. you know? Um, and I know that you were maybe trying to be strong, but I'll tell you, it was what you did was very soothing and very, like comforting in a time where, yeah, it felt like everything just like shattered into pieces, like
Mm.
from being told early on that we weren't sure if our pregnancy was viable, I'd gotten over that hump and felt like really good about everything, to being hit with something that isn't even just like, oh, maybe this is wrong, or maybe this is a mistake. It's no, I mean, it definitely is something that is going to affect your pregnancy, is going to affect your daughter's life. At the time, we didn't know it was a girl, of course, but your baby's life, and that became very, very hard.
Yeah, and for me, I latched on to the positives of what the doctor had
That's true.
said. So she told us it's a very treatable condition,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that very high survivability rate, and
Did she say that?
she
I
did.
must have not heard that because I made the mistake after she told this to us. of going on the internet and searching Enphalocele and scaring myself because it was a lot of stuff that you read, WebMD, right?
Mm,
I don't think that's where I found the information, but they say if you Google your symptoms, you're gonna make yourself think that you might be dying. So anyway, I started typing things about Enphalocele, not even really understanding what it was, and what I was seeing was terrifying.
yeah.
Pictures, charts, all the bad stuff is what I was seeing, and that made me truly anxious and even more upset. So that was rough.
Yeah, so like I said, I latched onto those positive things, and I kept telling Jesse, I was like, look, let's get all the crying and everything out now,
Yeah.
and I want to continue this this journey as if there's nothing wrong. That's probably not the
Did you
healthiest.
mean the whole journey, or did you mean like? Do you remember?
At least throughout the pregnancy, I wanted to go in
Enjoy
the
it.
as
Yeah.
positive as possible.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I didn't want to have our child and have it anything but perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough, but I did not want to feel. I didn't want her to have special treatments because of this condition. I wanted everyone to love her as if there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I latched onto those positives, and I told Jesse, I said, "Look, we're in the best place possible.
It's true.
We were told that Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, best place you could possibly be. Grant, and we live not far from there.
Right. We happened to move into this house that we're actually in the basement of right now recording, which is literally 10 minutes away from the hospital.
A,
So,
a lot of people have to travel to these specialized clinics or hospitals.
right.
So
From
to
hours
get
away.
yeah
Yeah.
to get this care,
Right.
and fortunately enough for us, we happened to buy a house not far, and we didn't have to travel far.
Yeah, because there were sure a lot of appointments. So after the 20-week ultrasound, they told us we would be referred over to fetal concerns. So that journey began in January, and that consisted of first day we met with them was a crash course in a lot of exams, and then from there, very regular ultrasounds, if not weekly, like bi-weekly through the whole
Yeah,
pregnancy.
and we're gonna break that down even more
Yeah,
in the next episode.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely leading up to that, like I said, I personally wanted to focus on the positive, and that was my way of putting on a mask so no one else would see my concern, and and I didn't want anyone. I wanted to be like the pillar for everybody else to lean on, and I
yeah,
didn't want to show my own feelings.
yeah, yeah. I have to say too, I struggled a whole lot with the idea of how to tell people outside of my own mother and your stepmom, right, and
Mm-hmm.
your brother. I I'm an open book in a sense, but this was just such a point of vulnerability for me. I didn't know how to share without totally falling apart. Like I had already explained, I did, when we first got the news. So I didn't want to scare anybody. I didn't want to project anything negative onto the condition, for my daughter. I didn't want to add any undue stress onto myself. So I thought long and hard about how to tell, if to tell. We talked at length about um, how to approach that with people. Because for me, I wasn't even sure I wanted to tell anybody, and I know that might sound crazy hindsight, but we came to the realization that sharing what we're going through helps others to deal with things that they go through, and that our daughter um, really is an example to others too, because she really is miraculous. Her story is very incredible, and it's been an honor to watch her thrive. We won't lie, we've had some tough points, and obviously she's the sweet, perfect angel child going through the tough points. But sitting there watching her go through it has been really hard at times. But it's gotten really good. So we're excited
Yeah.
to share that too. And we'll do that as we continue to dive deeper into her story and ours on this journey.
Yeah, so like she said, we decided we didn't want to tell anyone, and um, it,
Especially because of the holidays, right?
the timing on it was just horrible.
It's like it's almost like I forced the timing too, because we could choose like some things about the dating, and I chose like to plan the ultrasound for a certain day
Yeah.
because his birthday was that weekend, and then we were gonna roll into the gender reveal party like after that, and then it was gonna be Christmas and it was gonna be so perfect, and I was like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah.
It felt so not perfect. Felt really hard.
So we have a lot of December birthdays, especially like the week of my birthday. So unfortunately, we had this appointment, and that evening I was going to go out to get dinner with my stepmom and my brother because it happens to be her birthday 2 days apart from my birthday. So we were just gonna celebrate together.
And the her is your stepmom, right?
Yes,
Not me.
my stepmom.
But yeah, December birthdays.
And it was rough. I thought I had this
The
mask.
mask.
I thought I had the mask down, and didn't think anything was gonna crack me. And then I get there, and I'm sitting in front of my stepmom and my brother, and they knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
So then I decide to tell them, and
How did you do it? Gosh, I wasn't there. I can't remember why I wasn't there. I think maybe I was doing some sort of project for school or maybe in class.
yeah, I think you had class that night,
I can't remember. But he somehow got through telling them.
and I remember telling them, and it was like immediately as I'm trying to fight it back and not tell them, like I felt like an elephant just sitting on my chest,
Yeah.
and I was struggling to like even hold back tears. I'm not a person that cries.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't happen often, but my eyes are watering up. I feel like there's so much pressure on my chest, and just the fact that they knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
It kind of broke me a little bit,
Yeah.
and I just had to explain it to them. So I'm explaining to them, and then also at the same time, because now they're sharing this concern with me. I'm trying to reassure them now at this point.
Right. Yeah, you're like terrified. You're like, oh, but don't worry, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm telling them like it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. We were told this and that, and explaining to them what the doctors told me.
Right.
But just the fact that I shared it with them, even it was the same day, and we were expecting to keep this a secret until we know
Oh,
more.
I know. We talked
It
about
was the
that.
same day I broke.
Did you think I was gonna be mad or something that you told them?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad because I felt kind of after hearing that you went through that, I wondered if you kept it to your or tried to fight telling them because you thought I would be mad or something.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, it was just it was one of those things where I was big and strong and being the tough guy,
Yeah.
and immediately melted into a little puddle and broke down the same day.
Well, it's like so different too because it's not even something that's happening to one of us. It's our child.
Completely helpless is
Right.
the feeling. That's the
Exactly.
the feeling that best describes it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, literally nothing I could do.
Right. And I'm a control freak. Like he knows that.
So
So
Jessie has her things she could do to maintain a healthy
right.
pregnancy. She can healthy diet, exercise, all this stuff that as you would do normally.
Yeah.
For me, helpless. All I can be is the rock for her to lean on when she needs it.
Yeah.
So just so I could feel like I'm doing something,
Well, can
I
I?
decided to grow out this beard,
Right.
and I figured if she's gonna be uncomfortable, I'm gonna be uncomfortable with this beard until she has her surgery, and then I can shave it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I was
yeah,
gonna say something. Now I can't remember what it was, but maybe it'll come back. Um.
yeah. So overall, at that initial appointment, there was so much doubt. so much fear.
Just so much unknown. We just had
Yeah,
no idea. It could be um, severe, more complicated. It could be best case, still complicated.
yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to describe something to someone and you can't even spell the word.
Right, you can't spell the word. We weren't even exactly sure what organs were going to be in her
Yeah.
omphalocele sac. So many things. People asked us to, um, if we had any history, I think that maybe, or if there's any predictor to know if your child is going to have this condition. And frankly, we were told, and we both know that we don't have extensive history, medically.
Mm.
Neither of us do. Our families have some, like, I don't know, like diabetes, just those sorts of conditions, but nothing very unique or very severe. So one of the questions that we got early on was, is there anything in your like family history that could have prompted this that you would have known as a marker? No, the answer is no. We even met with genetics too, and they went over a few things with us. They traced our family history like frontwards and backwards, and there's nothing, right?
Yeah.
That stuck out to them.
Yeah. So after our initial reactions and getting to a more of a comfortable spot, we decided to hold off on telling everyone. We wanted to have the holidays um, still be happy and cheerful and not to spread that news
Yeah, we
to
didn't want
them. We
to
didn't want to ruin
make that
anybody
the
else's Christmas
focus,
either.
right?
So
Well, yeah, yeah,
so we held it in. We went on as business as usual, and we decided to have our gender reveal party,
yeah.
which was pretty.
Like the week before Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was the following weekend, so it was the weekend between my birthday and between Christmas,
Yeah.
and we
Packed house, baby.
yeah, we filled up our tiny house
With a lot of
with
people.
friends and family,
Yeah.
and
So we're in the same room as the gender reveal party was held in.
yeah,
Yep.
so we did that, and we tried to think of the most creative way we could think of to do it. You know, people have the balloons and the baseball. We decided to go to Build a Bear.
Yeah.
We picked out the bear, and we picked out an outfit for a boy, picked
Can
out an
I
outfit
credit
for a girl.
myself for having this idea? Was it
Sure.
me?
No, it was me actually. Trying to take credit for my thoughts.
Was it you?
Yes.
Okay, either way, we decided that this was a great idea. And what's even cooler is we knew that at Build a Bear, you can place a recording inside the bear. And we have had this recording of Isabel's heartbeat. So we got it through this app. And we were able to get that recording into the bear. So when you press the bear's arm, you hear a heartbeat.
Yep. So the the girls working at Build a Bear were so excited to help us with this because it's not a normal request. So we asked them, we told them,
They were so cute.
we gave them 2 outfits,
Yeah.
and we handed them the envelope, and we asked them, they said, can you look at what this is and then dress it in the outfit
Accordingly,
accordingly,
yeah. Right.
and don't let us see it.
But we'll just blindly pay for it, so.
Yeah. So
we did.
so they took it in the back room. They covered all the little view holes in the
They
box.
did. Do you want to grab the box? We have it. It's right here. I thought it might be fun to show for people who are listening without seeing the video. We're also taking a video recording, and we have the box in our
So
basement.
here's the box, and there's usually holes on the side.
Yeah.
On both sides,
Isn't
and
that
they
fun?
covered them up for us. They
Yeah.
stapled it shut so we
they
couldn't
did,
peek.
so we couldn't get antsy about peeking. Yeah.
So
it's fun.
we thought it was a creative way to do the gender reveal, and for me, I was convinced it was a boy.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to relive this with you. I had said so many times, it's probably a girl, it's probably a girl, it's probably a girl. And I just felt in my heart and in my soul, it's probably a girl. This was before the ultrasound, by the way. And then when we got the news of the ultrasound, I cried extra super duper hard because I was thinking, either way, whichever gender of the baby, that poor baby is going to just, have to deal with this issue. So it kind of almost distracted from what the gender was. You know, we kind of were just so much more occupied with just the fact that the baby will have that condition. Um, so anyway, we go about this, right? We're in our basement. I love decorating. I love doing social things with our family. So I went crazy. I got a ton of balloons, a really cool cake that had the color of the baby color, I should say, pink for girl, blue for boy in the middle of the cake. Um, and we took a video of ourselves opening the package.
Mm-hmm.
We opened the package, right? Can
Yeah.
I just say, when we open the package, we should maybe share this in a link like to the video or something so people can see it. Adam's face turned the brightest red that it could possibly turn because it's a girl. And we already told you guys like super early on, you know, obviously she's a girl. But so exciting for me because I was right. Duh. I was right.
Yeah, I was convinced it was gonna be a boy. Guess I was wrong. I don't regret it any other way.
Of course
But
not, but I loved being right, I have to say. So, anyway, we maybe will try to grab that video to show people because it's fun to watch. But it was fun. We celebrated with everybody. I would say it was in the back of my head that that was going on, and it was hard at first to not share that with people. I think when we started the party, but I think we got so carried away in the celebration of what was happening that I didn't think back to it as much as I thought I would
mm-hmm.
until after everyone was gone.
Yeah.
Then I started to think, oh gosh, now how are we going to tell people? And are people going to be mad at us that we didn't say something sooner? You know,
Before leading up to the gender reveal party that we had,
yeah,
we were so concerned with how are we gonna do this
share.
without people knowing.
And how can we tell
Like,
some people, but not all people, if we're not comfortable? It was a struggle. We really weren't sure.
yeah, we desperately wanted to keep it as a secret for the time being,
Yeah.
and thankfully we get so caught up with our friends and family that it never even occurred to us until after the party was over.
Yeah, to like, oh yeah, we could have said something and didn't, but we kind of knew that we weren't anyway, so it worked out.
And then instead of, it was initially we were going to keep it a secret the whole way through. We didn't want to share it. But one, we didn't want to
Yeah.
have to explain over and over and over again what the condition is.
Right. And I was so concerned with the questions that might get asked because, just in general, I think pregnant women get questions that are unfair sometimes. A lot of, just in general, even people who don't know you, like assume things and ask things that might make you put off. And full disclosure, I feel like, yeah, like maybe I at times could be a little emotional and hormonal without that, you know, diagnosis, but adding that on top, it felt even more. I don't know if defensive is the word, but like I didn't want to hear anything from people that might strike me as a little pervasive, you know, or a little assumptive. You know, I didn't really like the thought of that, so it was hard for me.
Yeah, so after a while and after dozens and dozens of talks together, um, we decided we were going to share this news.
Yeah.
But we were going to do it in one fell swoop. So we created nice long post on the Facebook, um, as well as we created an event invite for the baby shower.
Yeah.
So we posted there and on just a regular Facebook post.
Yeah, so everyone could get like the same explanation.
Yeah, and this way we only had to do it once.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do it early so we wouldn't have to be
like
trying
kind of
to tell people while we were in the hospital or in the shower or leading. We just wanted to make it one and done, and we decided we were gonna do it after we got all the information we needed.
Right, because we had our visit with fetal concerns. We got just kind of a quick. I don't even want to say quick. It was not quick. It was long.
Definitely not quick.
Long form rundown of what to expect.
Yeah. Yep. So in our next episode, we'll talk more about that day. It was an entire day of sitting at Children's Hospital, meeting every single person that is going to be involved in Isabel's recovery.
Yep. Yep.
So with that being said, make sure you come back for our next podcast, our next episode. We're going to be uploading every other week. If you find this to be helpful in any way, make sure you give us a thumbs up, like it, and wherever you're streaming this podcast. Um, those of you that wait a couple extra days and viewing this on YouTube, give us a comment, give us a like. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. We're gonna add our email address in the description. So if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to share your story, shoot us an email. We are more than happy to give you a little bit more information as far as what we have, what we're going through. Because for us, it's still a developing story. Isabel is scheduled for her surgery to close it, and we definitely still have a long road ahead of us, and we would love to hear from other families that are dealing with this as well. So let's consider this an open discussion, and I hope that you guys are getting some positive information from us. I'm sure Jesse agrees with me. We want to be as helpful as possible to everyone that could be dealing with this, and just sharing the fallacy awareness. So that's what the January 31st is about, Fallacy Awareness Day.
Yep.
So again, just make sure come back. We're gonna go through this in detail.
Thanks for listening to the Oh Baby podcast with Adam and Jesse. Stay tuned for next time. We will dive deeper into our daughter Isabel's story. We also would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or are interested in being a guest on our show, please email us. We have our email posted in the show description. Thank you.